For this section of the video, I'd like to talk about setting up your arm and thinking about your release mechanism. If you look at a lot of the illustrations that are on the internet, you can see that there's various design ideas that you need to look thoroughly through and figure out which ones you think are going to work the best. So I just have a few of them that I found on the internet, and I just want to share them with you. So the part that we're looking at right now is we're trying to get a good idea of how this arm is going to be attached to your base. So you can see here how it's attached. You can see here how it's attached. This one's attached to the bottom. Some of them are attached kind of to the column. Some are in front of the column. You can see this is a whole different system here. Almost looks like they used a math trigonometry set to make that one. Okay, here you can see that it's right at the front, okay, and this one's at the back. So there's lots of different design ideas of how you can get the most action and energy created from the potential energy once it's set in place to the kinetic energy when it's released. Some of them work on tension, some of them work on torsion, where there's a rope or there's something that's twisted really, really tightly. And I think some of them, you can see here we have some that work with flex, much like a hockey stick works when you're taking a slap shot. Okay, this one's working on the flex of the wood. So you can go with a rigid system, a flexible system. Some are looking at torsion. So there's all sorts of different ways that you can set up and make your arm. So we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to show you again. This is more to show you a technique you can use in SketchUp to make your illustration more realistic. We're just going to go ahead and just because it's easy for me, I'm going to put it right in this section of the structure, and it's a 3/8 inch hole. It came up as 3/8 of an inch because that's what I want for my 3/4 inch dowel. And remember, when you're doing this, you got to use the push-pull. Click on the control, and you can pull out, and then you can take it and push it through to the other side. I'm going to go around to the other side and just adjust how far it went through. If you don't click the control, then you get a hole, and it doesn't represent the dowel properly. So I have my dowel. This is the tricky part now, is setting up how that arm's going to fasten on. And from experience, again, I would say that the easiest way to do this was to go ahead and find and make some reference lines that go through the project. So I can just make some lines here that kind of find different spots. So I'm going to click it there so that's centered. So I have some lines to work with here just to see where all the orientations are. I'm going to put another one. Can I get another one centered there? Is there another blue line that will come up? Not really. Okay, that's not going to work as well as I wanted it to. There's another way that I'm going to show you that's better. These reference lines, they won't continue to find center on your pieces. It found center for the entire catapult, but it's not finding center between this line on the ruler and this edge. It won't let me find exactly where the middle is. So I'm going to go ahead and undo that, and I'm going to go to the back of the catapult and just draw in lines. So I'm going to find center, draw that line out, and I'm going to press escape, find center. See how to find center? It's the point between here and here. So that's more useful for me. Okay, I'm going to bring that one out. Okay, escape, find center here, bring that one out, and then you go to this side, and between here and here, there's center. So this is just giving me kind of a nice accurate look at where everything sits in a different view. So I want to connect those together. Okay, so I have all these lines here, and they're only there just to let me find out where the center of this catapult is. That's all they're doing. Oh, that line's really crooked. That one's no good. So I gotta go ahead and delete this, and we'll make a new one. So go ahead. Not sure what it's centering with. I have lines. It doesn't look like they're the same. Let me try that again. Center there. There, okay, those are lined up now. All right, now that I have them lined up, this is the section, this is all I want. I'm trying to make my arm, but I find that if I work off the base, it's easier to make than if I do it anywhere else. So I'm going to go ahead and find the center between these two. And I now have this space in here that I'm working with. And I'm going to delete everything else around it. So this square in the middle is all I wanted. After all that, this is all I was trying to do. But it's a lot easier in the long run doing this, and it's more accurate. I have it centered in the middle. I know I have this positioned right where I want it. And you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about in a second. All right, so that is lined up right underneath my dowel. So now I'm going to use the pull tool, and I'm going to pull it up through the dowel. So now I have this piece. This piece is going to rotate on the dowel, and I have it kind of in the position that I want it. At this point, I can take it and I can shrink it down to whatever size I want. So if I don't want it to be so big and bulky, I can narrow it. And then I also have to, I can't have it sitting on the bottom of the catapult, because if I do that, it can't rotate. So I'm going to just draw a line across, a nice straight line. And I'm going to get rid of and remove the bottom, just push it off. Okay, now I have a piece that can kind of rotate. Okay, which is much better than what I had before. I would love it if I could take and grab this circle and pull out on it, and I could make a circle out of it, but that's not possible. But I could come in, so if I wanted to shrink it in, I can make it smaller this way, and then I could push this off. You can round the corners too. When you're done, you can round them. Oh, look at that. I'm not going to be able to get rid of that one piece because it wasn't all the way across. So I'm just going to undo that for now. Okay, so you can see that that piece can now be rotated, and I can set up and have my arm attached to it. So from there, I'm going to set up another piece of wood. So again, I'm going to use a control key, so it's another section of wood that's going to come out from it, and that's my arm. Now I can design how this piece is going to secure into the piece at the back. Maybe it is all one piece, but I can take this and adjust it and make it a different size if I like. So I can, oops, move this down. I'm just going to undo all that and redo it. Okay, I can take this and lower it. And then I can go from the bottom, I can bring this up, okay, and somehow, like, that fastening isn't going to work exactly like that. There has to be a better way of fastening, so maybe this piece of wood comes out like that and holds it in place. Okay, so I can bring that out. We'll line those up, and if I want to make it a little bit more fancy, I can put an angle on here, so I'm going to make that an angle and just push this off the top. Okay, so it has a nicer looking view. So the sight lines on that are nice. So there's the start of your arm. I've made it. It's a mechanism. You can see how it's going to work. Down here, you're going to adjust it and have your marshmallow on there. I could take this and I could push it in if I didn't want it so wide. Okay, or I could take it and I could draw lines in here and angle it and make it smaller. But you get the idea of how you can create your arm. So we're getting close, you guys. One step left is to make the actual container for your marshmallow, and then we have the release mechanism.